Welcome everyone, this is Evelyn and I have 4 messages of the day and my twin flame read on the table. It is not my 7-deck read, but 3 decks. It's my abbreviated read. So we have the SIRIAN Starseed deck here, the Rider-Waite Mini here, and the numerology deck. So it's just 3 decks today. But I have 4 messages of the day. Some really important information came through. And let's get started. We'll take a few deep breaths first. And you can bypass that if you don't want to do it, that's fine. Another deep breath. And one more deep breath. Sending lots of love and blessings out to all of you. I hope you're having a beautiful day. And thank you so much for joining me. I thought this sun was going to come out because it was out for a little bit and then it went back in. So it's a little more chilly now. Yesterday was just hot. It was really weird. And a couple things came up. My own symptoms or things I'm going through, and then was confirmed. I'd watched Cryon last night, and both purifying what you're eating right now is coming up, as well as perhaps some dizziness. I was definitely getting those 2 things, as well as really pay attention to what you're feeling in your body. If there's something that's bothering you or a weird inflammation somewhere, try to track to where that's coming from, right? What chakra is it coming from? And is it actually the part of your body that the swelling is showing? Is that the cause, or is it actually coming from somewhere else? And eyes were coming up as well. And again, gut health regarding eyes and actually the whole body, because anything that goes through your stomach in the wrong way is then going to have a chain reaction into the rest of your body. So if your gut health isn't good, it really does affect your whole body. So it's so important to pay attention to inflammation and not having inflammation. Really becoming your best you, your healthiest body as well. So let's go ahead and roll the die to see what's coming up for the twin flames. We started at 403, which is the Emperor and the Empress, which did come up several times in the messages today. And today is April 7th, so it is Good Friday today. And 4-7 is also heart to the crown. And again, the crowning energies of the crucifixion today, and then Easter on Sunday. So for the twin flames, this April 7, 2023. All right, we have Saturn. And it's interesting too that Saturn's symbol has the cross, like for Good Friday. So that's coming up. And again, the responsibilities, the weight of that responsibility. We have Pisces here too, which represents the leap between the 2 dimensions or spheres, right? So the 2 circles and the leap between them, the 2 worlds. And then we have the 10, which is the, for me, it's the Wheel of Fortune, but this for me is Libra energy. And so we have Pisces, Libra, and Capricorn for Saturn. And Libra and Capricorn are both cardinal. Speaking of which, the cardinals, last night I walked by the back door and there were 2 cardinals frolicking in the bush right across from my back door. That was really cool. So there's cardinal energies coming up. And then Pisces in the middle. And there's that leap from, the bridging energy from one to the other, perhaps from Capricorn to Libra. And then also Pisces is a mutable energy. So again, bridging the 2 cardinals. And that came up in the messages today too, you know, really bridging the two mountains, bringing the two families together, and it's Easter weekend. So this first one, my first message of the day, and these are all from April 4th through today. And for those of you not familiar, it's always the underlying energies on the left, and then 3 cards usually dealt. Sometimes a fourth will come out with a third card or whatever card. And then at the end, there's usually another card that comes out. And if not, I'll put no cards down there. But whatever extra cards will come up, I will count them and also use them in the read. And that's how I do this. So the top deck there is the Journey of Love, and then the Metatron deck, and then the Energy deck. And then the bottom is a lot of the deck of, it's just the half deck of Rider-Waite. So just all the characters in the deck. So this one was done on 4/4 from 8:01 to 8:04 p.m. actually. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, shut the door. It's also the Emperor, the Empress, as well as the Magician and the High Priestess. And the numbers that came up at the end piles were 1, 5, 1, 4, which is the Devil and the Angel. And then 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 4. And 2, 1, 4 came up in other reads too, which is Valentine's Day, which was significant. But it's also 21, which is the World, and the 4 of the Lambda Leap, right? The L of Lambda, which is the Lamb and the Father. And that leap also being the 4 of the Emperor. So demons and angels came up with that, as well as co-creating Valentine's. And then the 1514, the first entry from Gematria, was C.W. Robertus. The second was a deadly virus. The third was Yahweh. It's spelled Jahwe. And then the fourth entry was January 2nd. The fifth entry was Do You Love Me? And 6 was You Have to. 7 was I Am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. The underlying energy here at 825, the 8 of strength, and again, manifesting of dreams, as opposed to the 4, which is manifesting survival. 25 is the Knight of Wands, starting with the 25. So the time was 25, and the first card in the underlying energies here was 25, which is the Knight of Wands. To keep your dreams alive, the 6 of the mature woman, the octopus and the 2 of wands, or twin flames, came up with the 28. The Knight of Wands, blue baby, blows a kiss to the mature loving woman in need of boundaries, perhaps, especially when you're feeling people around you draining you. Be patient and firm. Old habits may be hard to change when facing a choice of path and or your twin flame. At 842, the dance of the 2 of cups, where you let love be your beacon and blush. The 35 of the wounded warrior, and a culmination of a vision. So again, this is the ending of, really ending that old cycle and letting go of all that old stuff now that we're fully into spring now. And it was interesting too, I watched the 4th of July, which has been, I don't know what year that movie was made. It's a long time ago though, with Tom Cruise. And they were doing last rites in the movie, so that was interesting. Last rites and the death card have come up a lot this week, and again, referencing the crucifixion, but also that could be playing out in certain people's lives. The 36 of the Atlas energy and the weight of the world, the intuition and the map of intent, and a beautiful mind, celebrates others' differences, with the 3 of the Empress, Mother Nature, and abundance, in the infinite life's work of Mother Nature. After all dried up, after the winter, right, and everything died in the fall, and the winter clearing it out, making it to water to put out the fire and make it to higher ground, a wake-up call to the beauty, is rising above to keep your dreams alive, ending the burdens of the wounded warrior, and Atlas, the map of intent, Mother Nature's wake-up call to light the fire to keep your dreams alive, as the Knight of Wands, 25. And again, the year 25 is coming up as well, as we march from this year 23 of the King of Wands through the Queen of Wands, the Knight of Wands, and then that Page of Wands, which is 26, going into the Ace of Wands, 27. So the first card out here is the 10 of opening your heart to the high vibe swan love, the 48 of going within to hope and happiness, that's that 8 of cups, And the 33 of the Christ vibration, to be gentle with yourself, especially this day on the crucifixion, because there is the collective energies coming up around the actual day of that event. The 27 of the Ace of Wands, to be inspired to maintain your childlike spirit above it all. At 9:13, which is the Hermit and then the Death. And again, the death of the person hermiting, of JC, and the underlying energy of the 35 of the Nine of Swords. The wounded warrior, suffering in silence, perhaps a sister there, pulling up anchor. The 27 of being inspired by unexpected income or incoming, pitching pennies in the presence of a loving lady with the truth. At 9:18, which is my birthday, so that could be coming up for you, right? The significance of birth. And when did you get back? It was so weird. Before I wrote down the time, in the 4th of July, Tom Cruise asked the other guy, when did you get back? And his friend answers September 18th. And I look up at the clock and it was 9:18, which is my birthday. And then the energy coming back here at 11:16, clearing the family tree with synchronicities and wise privileged lady on a magic adventure of deliverance and self-love. The 31 with the Ace of Pentacles as well, the chaos of new life after time in the sun. And that can be vacation or, fame. The 29 of the Three of Wands then being present in the moment to gifts, imprisoned at present though, or imprisoned by a present or gifts, and a loving mature woman. Where the first card out here is the 35 of the Wounded Warrior's path, that's lined with transformation and butterflies, as the King of Wands with love for family, or in a love or family breakthrough here, as the sun comes out, and the number 4 of the Emperor's courtship, or courtship for stability purposes. And then the ending cards here is the King of Cups with justice of timelines and cracking the whip with rod and staff, or the transition of the Page of Swords child, Libra and Scorpio there, and the Knight of Wands, honored perhaps with a message. A 3-cannon salute, perhaps a patch or a medal, and the boomerang effect, the 19 of the Institution, and the 6 of Swords of Peace at 940, which is the Hermit and the Page of Cups. And the 14 with a message of concern, of the Patient Angel and the Toxic Queen of Wands. So it's coming up with Cups energy, and then perhaps the Queen of Wands is Sagittarius with the 14 there, but we have Leo there too. So Leo or Sagittarius most likely as the Queen of Wands, as I just whistled again. So she may be a sexy broad, but she's coming up in toxic energy. So at 10:16 is the Wheel of Fortune and the Tower, and the 38 of the Queen of Cups. And we have 16 right there, which is Scorpio. So it could be a Scorpio, but it can be any water sign. But the Queen of Cups 38 is shown as working very hard, right? Toiling and laboring here. With the 22 of the Fool's Journey, with the Queen of Pentacles, with an open heart and a leap of faith. And the Dance of Death of Jekyll and Hyde, of the Mortician and Tomb, of Independent and Dependence. The Doer or Be Done To came up as well. That was at 10:19, the Wheel of Fortune and the Sun. So an Independence comes up here with the 4th of July after I'd watched that movie. So at 10:20 is the underlying energy of the Bat out of Hell, lost in space as the hawk clears the way for sacred little mouse. The bat who lost their wings. And please note in this deck that the bat looks like the mouse with wings. Again, so the bat out of hell lost in space as the hawk clears the way for the scared little mouse who perhaps tried their way and got scared or intimidated, so rushed back to the house. The bat who lost their wings and the fox who's loyal in the phoenix rising again, as here we're at Easter, finding a way to fly, to free the mind with boundaries after flailing. The cards from the animal deck here were lizard, firefly, and unicorn. Perhaps feeling sensitive to crowds, yet fighting past the fear, shining bright, however fleeting, to anyone who will listen. The unicorn leads in forgiveness of self and self-love, being freed. So the cards at the end here are the lion, who's calm and sure, who knows the cost of the hardworking man, the one who gives a damn. At 10:49, with the Wheel of Fortune and the 49 of the Nine of Cups, destined to get their wish, the underlying energy of the Queen of Cups and High Priestess, who manifests the Knight of Wands rushing back to them, connecting or partnering with the King of Cups, or unconditional love, as the Wounded Warrior, or the King of Swords as kids, the Page of Cups and the Knight of Swords, may be coming at the King of Cups, or Wounded Warrior in the Wounded Warrior and the Knight of Wands getting between the Queen of Cups and the King of Cups, as the King of Wands looks at the King of Swords, wanting to know why before moving forward, perhaps to travel around the world with soulmate, kids, or before going to the neighborhood of the Sovereign and the Empress, which can be a mother and daughter, or a dark night walking all over those who stand in their way to get to the twin flame, or an opportunity offered, or Scorpio given an ultimatum. At 10:55, the Wheel of Fortune and the Truth, the Ace of Swords, Excalibur, and the first card here is the Lovers and the Queen of Pentacles, as death becomes her. The divine union sets her free. Okay, and the death card represents the dark night, literally the divine masculine, so that could be that reference as well. 11:01 is justice and alignment, and the one of the magician with space between, as the Emperor and the King of Pentacles, where the elephant drops in, literally, and that was coming up from the magician's elephant, as the Page of Swords with a message of love they want to give. Refuse thy father and forgive thy name, of course, comes up from Romeo and Juliet, as the Page of Wands and Page of Pentacles is excited and eager to learn the ways of the magician. The Queen of Wands is tempted or on the witness stand with the Queen of Swords grilling them, or the Queen of Swords is the Queen of Wands' representative questioning the devil, perhaps Gemini as the hermit with light, or forensics, perhaps up late or can't sleep, but finding satisfaction with justice here. The man and the kids making magic as the Queen of Wands Capricorn, with the Queen of Swords lawyer perhaps, speaks to the hermit or professional who may be stressed out, representing themselves with judge or at a mediation. All right, so that was the first message of the day. And then we have the second one here was on the 5th at 3:03 to 3:04. And this one is, oh, I'm sorry, no, that's the twin flame read on the table. We'll get to that at the end, but we're going to do the messages of the day first. So this one, I think I showed you the wrong, this is the first one. I'm sorry, I don't think I should. Did I show you this one? I think I showed you the wrong one. If it wasn't, this is the first one I just did. And I might have shown you the second one. All right, so this is the one we just did. And then this is the one I'm going to do now. And this one actually starts with, Journey of Love. I told you the decks correctly. And this is the one I'm going to do now. Sorry about that. All right. Okay. So this one done on the 6th. So yesterday was done between 10:07 and 10:10 a.m. Again, the Journey of Love, the Metatron deck, the Energy deck, and then the half deck of Rider-Waite. The cards at the end were 11:11 and then 21:48 as well as 21:424. So 11:11 in Gematria, the first entry is Twin Flame. So that's pretty significant. And again, it's based on numbers. It's not like someone just chooses to put a word in there. It has to do with the value of the numbers. So 1111 came up as twin flame. And also that, you know how you have 1111 when you're counting strokes and then you use the fifth stroke to go across the 4? That was coming up as the ether, right? The 5 being cumulative of the 4 elements. And then 2148 was coming up as the world going within. The world 424, 424 or 4 to the emperor for the Queen of Wands, which is Omega, and the illumination at the crown. The Divine Feminine's ego, as her hair was coming up as well as her crown. Again, representing the feminine ego, which is different than the masculine ego. When the Divine Masculine is aligned with the Divine Feminine and the world goes within, the angels dance. The world connects heart to high heart, 4 to 8 in survival to dreams, and not in the World Cup, but the World 2 Cup, as in the twin flames, in the Lambda Leap or Lambda Father Leap, the hop, skip, and a jump on a galactic level. And there was an Olympic reference there. So at 1018, which is the wheel and then the moon, right away came in, evening out the playing field. And I felt a pinch in my upper left arm right then at 1019, which is the wheel and the sun. The Divine Feminine and the Divine Masculine with the 2 of Cups and the 4 of the L and the 1, the Lambda Leap, and the spaces between, which are 2 and 4, like 1 to 4. Or excuse me, 1 to 3, and then 4, 5, so like an in-between energy, the space between. And then 1020 to the 3 of 1, 2, 3 jump, 4 to 14, which is coming up again as Valentine's Day, where angels fear to tread. You know, someone always has a negative experience around Valentine's Day. So at 1022, again, the wheel, the high vibration, the destined energy of the 22 of the Fool's Journey and 1111 of the Twin Flames. The other entries that came up for 1111 were Alex Jones and then New Age Begins, A Letter to You, and then I'm Code, written 11 times. The 6th entry was Charlie Ward, and 7 was Jesus Blood, 8 was The Secret Mystical Code, and 9 was 411. 10 was Workman, and 11 was the Quantum Number. And then I looked up the number 2148, and a bird that sounds like an alarm, like that kind of energy. That bird alarm energy came up from a bird outside. And 2148 came up from Gematria as If Not Now, When. And number 2 was Winner, Winner. Number 3 was We're Only Getting Started. And then I went to the number 214 since it kept coming up. And the first entry for 214 is simple, to keep it simple. And the other number associated with that was 444, which is the angelic realms. And then 74, which is the reference of today, 47. The second entry was April, and then capital N, lowercase d. And then the third entry was I Am Batman. The fourth entry was Moonchild. The fifth entry was Captain. 6 was Mahomes, Mahomes. The seventh entry was Theta. And then Audi, Piper, Redeemer, Moonchild again, and Menorah. Menorah was the 12th entry. I looked up 424 as a helicopter was flying over really low at 1031. The Wheel of Fortune and the 5 of Wands. The group, the conflict, the playing sports, coming together. The pursuit of happiness. At 424, the first entry was Skittles and to feel the rainbow. And the second entry was LEISCERBETTE. So I looked up the word lice or lease, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but the first part of it is a whale or a huge sea creature, right? The big fish. And so literally it came up as let Sir be the whale or the big fish or the group, as the Five of Wands just came up, right? The big fish then equals the group because he's got the power and will speak on behalf of the group, whereas the individuals in the group may not be able to do that for themselves. But he comes up as the big fish. So after that entry was clay. I'm sorry, that was a separate entry. The Lasser bet, and then this let's Sir be, set, LETSIRBECETE came up. And then North Korea, and then the polar shift, and then 7 was FT 4 times. 8 was foot fetish. 9 was God's angel of light. And peace out, reunion. And then 12 was fix it. So that one word that ends in CETE, which means company of badgers or any sea monster or huge fish or whales, and ketos came up, KETOS, so ketosis came up as well. Seat also means hut, cabin, sharp, group, bond, pack, troop, or flock. So that word was the let Sir be whale, the huge sea creature or flock or group, whether the big fish or group tend towards starvation. So there's a lot to fill up there, right? Whether you have the big fish to fry who eats a lot, or you have a group with a lot of people, you tend towards starvation because you need a lot to fill them up. The lesser bet was coming up as the sloth or laziness, the idleness, and the bet being spinach or beets, chard, or to bed or fix, heavy and bet. So slow to bed to fix, heavy sloth in need of spinach or beets, or to take a risk. 11/11 Valentine's Day coming up is April 24th, but April 8th was also coming up. From 4 to 8, from April to August, and again the 4 of the manifestation of survival and 8 of dreams. From 4 to then 24, so April 8th and April 24th. Again, the 24 being the Queen of Wands and Omega, but also the space between of the 2 and the 4, of the heart to heart, the heart to crown, which is the 4 to 7 and Omega, and then the Emperor learns to dance. The Emperor to the Queen of Wands or to Omega, or again, learning the concept of two yous, of being two people at the same time. So those numbers were also coming up as 1, 2, 4, and 8 in the numbers, which is that collective build, right? 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 plus 4 is 8, and so on. So they guided me through that whole sequence of 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, 20, 10, 24, 20, 48, 40, 96, 81, 92, 16,384, 32,768, 65,536 to 131,072. And that's where I knew something significant was coming up, because I saw the 72, which then I knew 144 would be next. But the 131 of the co-creation with 3 in the middle of the abundance or Mother Nature, and the 72 of each of the twin flames, right, the 2 by 2s. And then the next digit or number is 262, 144. Where we have the 6 of the lovers between 2 on either side co-creating, and the 6 also representing the G of the God and the spiral of the aqua rose gold mother's heart. And then the next number is 524, 288, and so on. So the 262, 144 was reading as two conceptions with God between, where the book ends merge in leap to co-create. The happy face of 11 of alignment or alignment with happiness, and then the H, which remember is the lap dance of the 4, right? When you stack chairs, that's an H, the 2 chairs on top of each other. And then that's the 44, right? The 44 becoming the H when you stack them, that then rolls over to I am 8, infinitely dancing. So this is just the number 262144. So 2 Q's, because 2 written quickly looks like a capital Q, and the spiral in the rose or the risen heart, very appropriate today is the crucifixion and the rising on Sunday, or Monday, whatever have you. Let's see here. And then the next number was 524288, which I wrote in block style because the 5 and the 2 reflect each other exactly. The Hierophant and the High Priestess. After with the Queen of Wands, or the 2 and the 4, between the hero, 2 and 4, the High Priestess dance side by side. The Queen of Swords and the 2 of Cups and the Crazy Eights, the Hierophant and the High Priestess, the Hero of the Breath, and the High Healer, 1 to 1, which when you put 1 to 1 together becomes the H again. H to H, like heart to heart, where if you take them apart, it's 1-1-1-1. Connecting to knock down the Crazy Eights. Bowling for dollars, or doll of ours. The roll from the H over. When the H falls over, it becomes the I, and I, Capitan, was coming up here. The 9 upright here comes up as the 8 laying down, or the infinity symbol. The 52 and the 42 come together with the 8-8 as like a TV stand. It comes up, if you merge those numbers together here, it becomes the 52, the 42, and the 8-8 becomes the window. All right, so it looks like a TV on a stand. And then this symbol, this was a mistake right there. So it just looks like this box over here with 2 legs over here. So then I highlighted when they overlap completely, which ones overlap and which ones don't when you put the numbers together. So here you have the 3 lines down, which means equal and congruent to. And then here is just this backwards L. And then here is the 8 because both of them are 8s and they overlap. So equal and congruent to, congruent and highly connected to the 8 or the window. If next to the window, you can open it. So there's always a way out. There's always a new door or window to open. So that backwards L is a Unicode. Came up as U plus sign 2100 and U plus sign 214. So there's that Valentine's Day reference again with an F, which is the digamma energy of 2 gamma waves. It was interesting what other numbers came up with that, but I then went on to the 1111 with the world at 1126, which is the alignment with 2026 and the Page of Wands, that inspiration, and 1111 with the world and the lambda leap, which is the 4, the L and the 1, to dance and crown. And remember, the 1 is also a colon because it's 2 dots with an arc between. The 1111 world and the lambda leap to dance, and lambda leap was also reflecting the Dalai Lama, right? Because lam is in Lama and da is in Dali. So Dalai Lama was kind of the reverse of the lambda leap. To dance and crown, again, to dance and leap, which is the 8 and the 2 and the 4. Again, the 1, 2, 4, 8 numbers. At 1127, the alignment of the Ace of Wands and the underlying energy of the 63 of the trauma of the light field coming in when someone's sitting in the middle of the bridge unprotected, the killing fields, the 3 of creation and the birthing fields as opposed to the killing fields, and the 46 of the thinking man with the inner child, the 9 of swords again with the 63 at the end. So 63 came up on both ends, the bookends of the 9 of swords, which is suffering in silence or trying to end the nightmare of stress or sleeplessness, whatever it is for you, the pain. Unprotected on the bridge in a storm with Mother Nature and the playful young thinking man of the 6 of Cups, perhaps hit physically or outwardly in the collective awakening as the thinking man, 46, hits below the belt within in self-deliverance to the feminine. With Source Direct and Mother Nature in the killing fields and the birthing fields, as the twins are the hermit home with the monkeys in the middle. The twins are the monkeys in the middle. And again, referencing the hermit and the home. And the home is CHEZ in French, which comes up as the three keys, and the tree keys, which is the tree house and then the tree of life. So the Shay comes up here as the blue ray. And again, this was the child I miscarried many, many years ago. I had named Cesare, which I didn't know at the time, literally translates to home of the ray. So Shay Blue Ray was coming up after the red hot orange, which is the new black, happy in the sunshine to be green, with aqua to sky, and topaz coming up, to paz, which is peace, but then blue indigo as the mother gets serious about needing violet light to grow to white. Silver and gold, diamond and magenta, two-world power of the magician sun, at rest at the core, the nucleus, the seed, the stone, and the belly, and the field, the young fish and the wise man, the older sibling, to enter or come, to do and to make, the playing fields in the middle here. So again, you have the killing fields, the birthing fields, and the playing fields in the middle with the monkeys. At 11:49, alignment with getting your wish. So the underlying energy next is the 42 of the Two of Cups and the blood dance next to the communal dance, number 5. And they were after the cards 69, contemplation, and 44, rings of time, which 44 we already discussed is the lap dance, but was also coming up here as the steps to take, like the rings of time in the tree. And the contemplation is the 69, which is the 698 pod of the 2 peas in a pod. The circles as opposed to the squares, the toroidal field, and the steps to take. So the 42 of the blood dance and the 5 of the communal dance, and then the 15 of the mother who prays, which is her dance. And she's infiltrating, leaping into the community mix without being asked to, causing backlash on them, fully exposed to the killing fields. The gamma rays, or the boomerangs, as the numbers that came up in the cards here were 6944, 425, 1563. And there was this energy of the way you come off to people, as in your outer personality number, and the life lesson that you learn because of that, and between. And a lot of that occurs in families. In doing numbers, since my 20s, you usually find in relationships one's soul number is the other's life lesson number, and with friends that one's soul number is the other's outer personality number, because they see each other as themselves. Whereas in the relationship of marriage or something like that, you're learning from each other as opposed to wanting to be like each other, right, for comfort. The pod and the Ace of Pentacles, Hercules of the Two of Cups, the 2 peas offer her harvest to the community as Dark Mother prays for stormy weather or bites off their head. But it boomerangs at 12 p.m. right back on them, the energy stressing them out. At 12:01, the Hanging Man and the One of the Magician, where the first card here is 70 of heaven, a differing perspective of the light coming in, the movie projector. And again, the first perspective we saw was someone on the bridge getting slammed by the energy without protection. But here's another perspective of looking at it, is the movie projector, the clouds illuminating what you can't normally see, the suffering in silence, the sister or the stress, not being able to sleep or juggling, performing and dancing the daily, stress or heaven on earth. The 57 of lovers receiving healing, keeping it simple, which was number 214 here. So again, simple came up again, and the number of Valentine's Day, or the world taking that lambda leap on Easter. And 35 and 36 of the Wounded Warrior and Atlas, and intimacy coming up here. which intimacy was coming up as in source, Ma sees. The cosmic butterfly, the weight of the mother, both the weight as in heaviness and the weight as in waiting. From the light field to heaven, the lovers work to leave the wounded warrior or the victim mentality behind. The 34 of becoming an energetic exchange and the arrows of love that are aimed right at you again and again. Can you take the point? Again, the point of the arrow. Do you get it? The 34, which is a 7, but so does the 214 equals 7. The Empress, the Mother Nature, the world, and the Emperor's lambda leap, boomeranging back and forth to each other at 1210, the Hanging Man and Destiny. The 34 to then the 35 and 36, the Wounded Warrior and Atlas, surrendering with a map of intent. At 1211, the Hanging Man and Alignment, with the underlying energy here being red. The 55 of the Ace of Swords of Excalibur, and safety, strength, and power in the shaman's truth of the inner child. To please hear and know them is the map to self with 3, 6, and 9. The 3 of the mother, the empress and creation, and spring, the collective awakening to expand your life. The shaman child and mother nature. At 12:16 is the hanging man and the sudden event. The 32 of the journey through the tree of life, the center of the earth, from orange to gold, bridging heaven and earth, with the 31 of the 5 of wands. And the whale that, remember, is larger than life, right? The big fish. Receiving the light. 4, the shadow pack. And again, the role of the emperor is a representative. Receiving the energy or the light for the group. Remembering the lambda leap to source, where 13 is B4, transiting to 1, and then starting over again. So remember in the 1, 2, 3 leap, you need to hit source at 4 before coming back and starting over again at 1. At 12:21, starting again, the lover's home, the lover's leap, to the golden gate to flock the sheep. At 12:22, the hanging man and the fool, where the numbers right here were 3, 32, 31, and 33. The 3, 2, 1 leap, 2, 33, 2 birds flying forward. At 12:23, the hanging man and the king of wands, or this year, invited to the golden gate. And I literally, in my daughter's TV, the bell rang right after I said that. So invited to the golden gate, and literally her TV just went ding dong. As 33 is the bridge to 66, which is the risen heart, that aqua rose gold mother's heart. Like the rose is the heart, it's the energy of 2 spirals in opposite directions coming into each other, the collapsing onto oneself. The center of the earth. The son and the daughter bridging the gap by connecting core values with the 20 of the cosmos that mirrors you, the dodecahedron here, or dodecahedron, which is dodeca, which is 2 and 10, or 12. Do deck. Maybe you need to work on your deck, or perhaps your card deck. 2 and 10 of the Q for 2, and the 10 high vibe 12 tribe was coming up, and Jacob's 12 sons. And the daughter who didn't get recognized as anything, and that was Dinah. And then the 4 mothers that birthed those 12 sons, the first being Reuben and the last being Benjamin, and then Netanyahu is coming up. Levi's didn't get any land, but with cities of refuge and temple in Jerusalem, and no land for Joseph's. However, his 2 sons did get some. They were his representatives. So at 12:44, again, the 12 of the hanging man and the 12 tribes and the 44 of the lap dance and the Hercules of the social worker of the feminine. The underlying energy of the 3, again, of Mother Nature and abundance, the blossoming abundance of the 32 journey, the door to spirit, and the 19 of rest and rejuvenation in the sun. The mother's journey to the sun with 3, 32, and 19, which is again the 3 and then 3, 2, 1 leap to the 9 of the one in the all. Sophia, if you want to be literal too, the 3 to the 9 could be a Taurus leap, journeying in a leap to the Virgo energy. which we're going into Taurus shortly. And then the next earth sign would be Virgo. The mother's journey to the sun, Sophia to cleanse his spirit. After the three of the mother's 3-2 journey, or 3-2-1 leap, to the 9, which is the one and the all, the compassion of it all, the 3 and then 3-2-1 to the 9 is also 3-2-1 equals 6. So it's again the 3-6-9. The bird flies to the 6-9-8 pod, nesting with the 4 of the happy family. The sun's rainbow connection, the lambda leap, the arc, the stability to the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. In the 14 of the patient angel, caring connections and a higher love with the 46 childlike thinking man. With the numbers then coming up in the cards, 4, 1, 4, 4, 6. The 3, 6, and 9 to lambda leap, the 144 in the middle of 4 and 6, which is the 6 of cups, inner children. So it's like the bliss of the inner children. The sun connecting to the angelic realms and being inspired. At 12:53, the hanging man, the Knight of Swords, messenger of truth, and again the crucifixion day. The first card here is the 50, which last week was coming up as the archangels. The 50 is your family, the emotional family, the 10 of cups, the greatest emotional fulfillment that you can have as a human being. The 50 also is coming up as 5D. The 50 of the angel of strength and the L of the lambda leap of heaven on earth with the sisters tribe that wasn't recognized of the 2 archangels, but again, written in their arced way, as in the Buddhist temples, with bridges across, which Elena Danaan had described in her visits off planet, of all of the high, the towering buildings and the very, very high bridges across. So heaven on earth with the sisters tribe of the archangels and the lions, the Lyran connection, and the 9 of Pentacles sovereign and sovereignty, the 11 of alignment of cornucopia, and aligning with the horn of Eucope, human connecting, the thinking man and the angel of strength, where lovers align with light and shadow during the celebration of Easter, Esther, and to go east urgently, 3 kings with gold, incense, and myrrh, or my RRH, which is literally flowing without EA or emotional attachment. The ancient one incenses with my flow without emotional attachment, or Myra, or Myre. Loving children and strength of the family, the L of the lambda leap, at the right angle to align with the sun and abundant Mother Nature. 29. And be present by stepping back to see the big picture from the universe's perspective. The gift of Earth Terra rearranging its parts. At 107, and they get to be witness to it. 107 of the Magician and the Chariot with space between. And that can represent the 1 of the Ark and the 7 of the Boomerang as well. And the Gamma Ray. Where the cards at the end here is the Magician and the Mirror and the 53 Knight of Swords. And the Father saying, what have I done? And there's so much, Jesus on the cross today. Father, what have I done? As Jesus on the cross. Or his Father asking, what have I done? What did I do wrong? As the 10 of the storm warning of the 25 Knight of Wands and deceit to come from an angry sun. The 44 of the woman holding their heart for the other knights to see it. Hercules, her harvest, after disillusionment, learning how to receive love again. And again, there's that Mary Magdalene reference. At 110, the Magician and destiny and the underlying energy of death, dark night, end and transition, transformation. The Grim Reaper, or the Taxman, comes to the King of Wands and the Queen of Wands and the Knight of Wands, riding in to come full circle or clear things up. Or Pisces returns to help parents or Scorpio, Dark Night and Divine Feminine bookends, and Xmas or Christmas. with the future between. Oh, it's coming up as the past, present, and future Christmases here. So the Dark Knight and the Divine Feminine bookends. Within the middle of those bookends is Christmas past, present, and future between them. Death to the old as spring arrives just in time, as the Queen of Wands calls in the cavalry or the troops from around the neighborhood or world. The Knight of Wands and the Knight of Swords both rush in from opposite directions or perhaps opposing sides, as the Knight of Swords is defending the High Priestess or higher self. The assistant, the nurse, the aide, or the sister is the one suffering in silence or stressed out or not sleeping or not being able to rest despite her stillness. And the first card here is, but now the Nine of Pentacles sovereign, catch, is sovereign, as the Fool is now free with loyal friend, as the Knight of Pentacles and the Knight of Cups both come in with offers, as the Knight of Wands and Knight of Swords waste their time in the past. And keep in mind here, the pictures, all three cards that came out were yellow, yellow, yellow with confidence. And that was that Knight of Pentacles and Knight of Cups, both coming in with offers. Her harvest is what's drawing them in. And again, her harvest is Hercules or the Divine Feminine. At 121, the leap to the world, or to the feminine and masculine together, the Six of Cups soul ties of the inner children, as Dark Knight may be the dark horse, but is on a white horse this time as the third king approaches. So at 121, the leap to the world, or to the feminine and the masculine together, the Queen of Swords speaks of justice of the Two of Cups, with the King of Cups and unconditional love, and the King of Swords, and the wounded warrior who's on guard, on the lookout, perhaps trying to block the Dark Knight when they arrive from getting into her. The Emperor is given a choice by the wounded warrior or twin, or the two other kings about the Queen of Cups' heart. The lover, and that was 44. The lover, Queen of Pentacles, inspired to learn about the Queen of Cups, or the Queen of Pentacles with the Emperor and the Page of Wands and Page of Pentacles kids may be curious about the Queen of Cups. The Hermit, King of Pentacles, steps up, and that could be a King of Pentacles Virgo, steps up and sends word, shedding light on the devil coming to tempt the Empress, giving her warning, as the Knight of Swords Magician, storm warning of the Knight of Wands' deceitful ways, or the Capricorn with Cancer and Taurus, ball and chain, or perhaps his mother is the issue, as the Emperor is with the Queen of Cups and Queen of Pentacles with her kids. At 130 is the leap to the union, and the Empress catching wind of this. And that's funny too, because I just moved my hand, leaning on my hand, and it kind of scraped over the couch, which made it sound like passing wind, which is funny as I just said that. And the Empress catching wind of this, or Easter family dynamics are at play here. Perhaps the Sovereign, Nine of Pentacles, and the Knight of Pentacles, maybe the older kids who are free to bring love to the younger siblings, whether the same family or perhaps a separate family, with Aries and Libra axis at play, and then Saggy and Gemini, Pisces and Virgo, Cancer and Capricorn closing the gap, Taurus and Scorpio, if Dark Knight catches up, perhaps tempting with their rising Capricorn or their charms. As the Magician, King of Pentacles, Virgo or Gemini is the baby, gotta love me, or the only sane one and very pleased with himself, perhaps the Emperor and the Empress are grandparents, are split or not getting along, as their grown kids, King of Pentacles and Queen of Pentacles, are responding to which of their kids are coming and when. Perhaps Gemini's sister or dad's favorite and her kids wanting to meet the Queen of Cups, as the King of Pentacles hermit may be busy catering to the Empress or his mother, or Taurus ball and chain, and letting them know what's up or happening. The Emperor may be the Knight of Wands bad boy who cheated, or grandchildren Knight of Wands player, and then daddy's girl who's all about the romance at 142, the leap to the Two of Cups, or the Magician and the partners. Or the King of Pentacles hermit is the Gemini player with Mother and Queen of Pentacles who's with kids, with the Emperor and the Queen of Cups, perhaps a Sagittarius ultimatum to the Emperor, or wounded warrior who's speaking on behalf of the King of Cups and King of Swords, or Scorpio and Libra kings to Aries or Emperor, perhaps about court or mediation, or served. At 147, the Queen of Swords addressed the judge, with the Knight of Cups and the King of Cups, with the King of Swords on the other side was soulmate who cheated and defending themselves. Perhaps his father called to testify and may not be in his favor. At 149, perhaps the magician or Gemini is an only child or the baby or the favorite and is used to getting their way, and it may not play out that way this time. At 150, the magician leaping to emotional fulfillment of the Five of Cups, or perhaps 5D. All right, so this next message of the day is a really quick one, and this one is my 2 decks combined, the Lenormand Reverie and the Kipper decks combined, and then the Wild Animal, Unknown Animal Guidebook, and then my Rider-Waite half deck. So you see how much yellow is there in this one here as well. There's a lot of yellow coming out, a lot of confidence, the solar plexus being activated, the quantum entanglement, getting untangled so that you can shine your light. So this one I did yesterday from 7:02 to 7:04, that last night. That's 2, 3, 4 of the High Priestess or Higher Self, the Empress, and the Emperor. And the numbers at the end of each read came up as 311, so 311, as well as 648, and then 6424. And 311 for me was coming up as a social emergency. Lovers leave and go within. Family to feel the rainbow here, and maybe in feeling their loss or them not being there anymore. I didn't actually look up 648, which you can do if you want, 6424. But 424, again, was coming up as Skittles and to feel the rainbow. The underlying energy at 721 is the Chariot and the World, perhaps traveling around the world, or perhaps around the neighborhood. And that could be the casino as well with 7 and 21. The underlying energy is the 24 of the Queen of Wands thief in this deck, and the Snake, the lovers, to catch a thief by awakening lover or one of great affection here. At 728 then, which is again the choice of path or twin flame, the 5 of the tree and the 7 of cups of synchronicities and having lots of choices or heaven in their eyes perhaps can cause confusion, as the 12 of the wise privileged lady, or perhaps the one hanging out with the family energized by the establishment or hospital, or the Chariot with the toxic snake energy here. The 19 of the Sun and the 6 of Swords, with the 14 of a message of concern, with the 7 of that Queen of Wands, who's coming up as the toxic snake. Clearing the trunk of the tree, and that can also be someone with an illness, right? They're toxic because they've been bitten by something. But clearing the trunk of the tree with synchronicities and heaven in their eyes, with the wise privileged lady exposing the institution with patient message of concern, perhaps vehicle of toxic Queen of Wands, and then the 38 of the Queen of Cups, working hard in a lover's breakthrough with the King of Wands in a stable courtship, or with the Emperor and the Queen of Cups, twin bridges in a busy job, or occupied by the energetic exchange or hours of love and sowing the seeds of love. With the Queen of Wands thief at the job, or perhaps one who stole your heart, or encouraging the boy on the street who's the thief. And again, that's really funny too, because it just could be your pet who maybe stole something from you. Or I was looking for a ring today, which I couldn't find. I actually was looking for it the other day too. But I realized it might have fallen off the table behind the couch here, and it fell into Teddy's toy bin. So he did take it. He didn't take it, but it was in his toy bin. So you might find something in your pet's stuff. At 735 is the Chariot and the Wounded Warrior. The first card here of the 4 of the King of Cups, home, and the 14 of the 9 of Wands, Sagittarius Fox, leaving the hen house, perhaps to the mountains, to complete something or come full circle, with a lot of energetic exchange or back and forth here, with the cards at the end being the 9 hermiting changes, perhaps a new car or a new home, and the 10 of Justice of high vibe destined cuts with the Page of Pentacles and blissful abundant trip, perhaps of a mother or an Empress type person or a move, or Virgo and Libra, ship without water, and the Empress is the planet, right, Mother Nature, and the 36 is the Atlas or the map of intent around her, of distant horizons with no emotions to float their boat, with the polar bear and the 21 world, the living room empty, perhaps home at last, or home that's afloat. So somebody could literally be living in a houseboat. But again, Titanic's coming up again, hitting the iceberg and dumping a load or all their burdens and responsibilities. Or after living on a boat, happy to find an empty living room where you could just spread out and be grounded for a while. And the 15, which can be a pushy bear or pushy mother. With Taurus, Pisces, and Capricorn here, at 7:43, the Chariot and the Three of Cups have come together, and the underlying energy of the Dolphin, who's happy with little Earthworm here with really good energy, but it may be easily intimidated because they're small, and that could be a nervous stomach too. But it's coming up as a really happy energy. With little Earthworm, that could be a new mom. And then Scorpion that's triggered by the tiger who's stalking as the crocodile lay in wait. An interesting match here could be coming together. And that could be something you see in a movie too, where like three are fighting. As the zebra is seeking contrast to find arsenal, activating the collective with their bag of tricks. At 8:02, and that doesn't have to be something negative, they're meant to trigger people to get them cleared out. So at 8:02 is the dance or the manifestation and the 2 of the divine feminine or higher self and the space between. And actually that can be Leo and Pisces as well. The 1 of the lion and the black egg who holds the truth, the information as the fox approaches. With the octopus here, who's all hands or all thumbs, with brain on fire, and Brian was coming up, and I'm just getting Brian number 1, needing boundaries. As the nudging bear comes up after the horse with fleeting inspiration, where the stallion horse is coming up as the stall lion that we were just talking about, pushing back in order to inspire the bear, who's really slow to get out of the winter, right? And the Atom Project came up as well last night. And that's very futuristic. It's about like a future self meeting their little kid self. It was actually a good movie. I enjoyed it. I don't always enjoy those movies, but I did like that one because there's a lot of personality in that. And I like Ryan. So at 8:23 is the dance of the 23 King of Wands, which can be Leo energy right there, and the underlying energy of the Queen of Wands, stressed by the court, the judge, or Libra, or during a divorce, or judge or Libra partnering with the Knight of Swords, or self to self, and then free with the divine feminine lover, or Aries, Pisces, and Gemini. And again, the Libra-Aries axis coming up here. The Fool with the divine feminine, loyal friend and divine lover, with DNA from many galaxies, sourcing Gabriel, with mercurial messages. And something about Gabriel came up really significantly today too, so remember I said that, because there's more Gabriel. At 8:31, again, the dance and the strength of the 31 of the group, which can be conflict and can be fun, right? There's always both sides of the coin, but you're always going to have differing personalities in a group, so you're more likely to have differences between people, which is why it's so important that you love yourself first and nurture yourself without expecting others to do it for you, so that all people nurture themselves and then the group as a whole can really get along well. The first card of the 9 of Pentacles Sovereign, with the Page of Wands and Page of Pentacles, inspiring to learn, and the year 2026 coming up again with the Page of Wands, as the cards came up 772668, which is 2 7s and 2 6s, which again is that 8 of Pentacles, which is the 2 twins together, because 4 of Pentacles is 72. So that's the 72 and 72, 144. But the 8 of Pentacles is the 76. So it's representing those two. And again, 76 is the 4th of July, 1776, and the birth of the nation, the birth of the twins coming together, and the 26 again coming up here as the Page of Wands, but also that year. And then the number overall is double sevens and double sixes, with 2 between the 7s and 6s and the 8 at the end, which is again the 2-8 of the twin flames. So it's interesting the way the numbers come together. It's really cool. And the 68 is also the Page of Pentacles, which is the perpetual student. So with the Page of Wands and the Page of Pentacles and the 77 sovereign. The Queen of Swords is introducing the Dark Knight, the Reaper of Grim, the Grim of GR and I am, silent and still I am, the Chariot happy with message of Scorpio and Cancer, and the Queen of Pentacles with twin King of Swords. As the Knight of Pentacles offers and is loyal to Devil or tempted by the Empress and Emperor, King of Cups, who may be besties with the 9 of Wands wounded warrior, the Queen of Cups, Page of Cups, and the King of Wands. The Empress and the Emperor, perhaps with 2 to 4 sons here, the King of Cups, and with the Queen of Cups and Page of Cups, the wounded warrior maybe with or is the King of Wands. Perhaps the King of Cups and King of Pentacles are sons here too, as the King of Pentacles receives the Knight of Wands back from the Magician, and the High Priestess or assistant, Divine Feminine, as the Knight of Cups offering love forward, as the Hermit sheds light on the Knight of Cups' shoes or legs, or how slippery it is, so be careful. At 8:53, the Knight of Swords being strong or during the dance. So be careful about slipping if you're going to a dance or going to a wedding, something like that. Be careful about that as well. All right, so here's the fourth and final, the fourth quarter. That's been coming up a lot lately too, as the fourth message of the day. And this was done today. The top deck is, if I can get this focused, the top deck is the Shaman Dreams, and then my 2 decks together, Lenormand, Reverie, and the Kipper, and then the Metatron deck, Nature's Whispers, and then my half deck of the Rider-Waite. So you can get a little bit better view of the pictures here. I won't get too close because then it gets really dark. All right, so this one was done today, 9:51 to 9:55, which is the 51, 52, 53, 54, and 55. 51 and 52 are the King and Queen of Swords and the Knight of Swords, the Page of Swords, so all the Swords court cards, and then the 55 of the Ace of Swords and the Whole Truth, along with the Hermit. All of the cards at the end were, again, 1, 1, 1, 1. So we had 11, 11 again, which again is the Twin Flames. And then the half deck came up as 3, 2, 1, jump, and the 6. So the other numbers that came up were 4 1s and 3, 4 1s and 6, and then 1 4 1 1 6. So again, 11 11 I told you already was Twin Flame, with also New Age Begins, a letter to you, and I'm code 11 times. And the 9th entry was 4 1 1. So perhaps an information emergency. So I looked up 411, which was Christmas, Quant, Key, Dark Matter, and Hercules, as I used to call the feminine Hercules. She's like the social worker, Atlas, where the masculine's more physically holding up the weight of the world. Astros, Markers, Hexagon, Prodigal Son, Forest, Murat, Bloodstone, and the Shining One, and Tulsa came up under 411. And my son was just recently in Tulsa. 11113 comes up as Illuminati, True Agenda, Heaven on High, Foolish Ones, think they can storm the gate. We are all sacred. We are all of God. We are one. We are avatars in a matrix. We are all eyes of God. Okay, and then I looked up 11116. What is, and the guy I'm in love with, King of Cups, telling me he can't write to me because he's too shy and feels too guilty and rather expects me to solve puzzles. And then 14116 came up with, I read a lot actually. You don't always have to read word for word. Creative process is always the next step away. It doesn't mean that you are lazy. Also listening to animals and what they're trying to tell you is important, right? So if your animal's bugging you and you're trying to do something, stop because they may be telling you need to take a break or something needs your attention. It may not just be about them needing your attention, okay? So I looked up the other 11s as well, 811, 911, 211, and 511, and 611. 811 was currency, tonight be ready, and reveal. 911 was WEF, W-E-F, divine feminine, Tisha B'Av, heaven's code, 911 FEMA, and divine light. 211 was Mason, Greenpeace, last, apps, salt, Romania, and bliss. And 511 was Saturn, Mary, I'm speaking the name God, perfect alignment, army, already, secret message, Arturo, Zach, I am healing, broken heart. And then 611 was very significant, third eye, Uranus, which is interesting because two of these brought up planets. 511 brought up Saturn, and 611 brings up Uranus. Stellar lumen, Godzilla, tribulation, psycho, and Good Friday. Now, I didn't have to look up 611, and I didn't have to go past the first or third entry, but I did, and it was Good Friday, 611. How crazy is that? Assassination, Seattle Christ, and elephant in the room. So I start here, the numbers 3, 10, 42, 7, and 65 at 10:18, which is the wheel and the moon, and then at 10:19, which is the wheel and the sun. We start with the benefactor of grace and generosity and the journey, going with the flow to amplify your positive emotions with the King of Pentacles, master of 3D, and can choose to be an emperor if he wants. With abundant joy of cuddle buddies in the mush room, the Empress, King, and Consort of will and grace or high vibe journey. My bags are packed, I'm ready to go. And then I got took my love, took it down. So Fleetwood Mac coming up there. Climbed a mountain and I turned around, and I saw my reflection in the snow-covered hill until the landslide brought me down. When the mountain crumbles, the goat wipes out, only to start again, no doubt, as Cuties, Muppets, and Thomas the Tank, and the old men, perhaps the baker's man or the baker's dozen, and then Jim Baker came up with Tammy Faye Messner, which was her married name after Jim Baker. From 61 to 92, she was with Jim. Tammy's birthday was 3/7/42, and she passed away July 20/07. And their downfall was none other than 1987. Jim ended up in jail for 5 years. So very significant that they were taken down in 87, the year of the convergence. So at 11:31, the Wheel of Fortune and the 31 of the group again, and the Empress benefactor of the traveling man. And there's that reference to Jim and Tammy again. Destined 42, or that 2 of Cups 1-1, to go with the flow in salty water, with a little chariot fairy girl, and vehicle of ripples and positive emotions with the Page of Pentacles. With Taurus and Libra 1-1, with Cancer and King of Pentacles, a successful man. From mush to Kush was coming up here. And then Tammy's daughter, Tammy Sue, came up with an interview. I think it was in 21. They had a daughter, Sissy, Tammy Sue, and a son, Jamie, who they called Jay. And I didn't read her whole story, but you can check that out if you want. I was actually looking to see if Phoenix was coming up, if they had ever stayed in Phoenix, but just Charlotte, North Carolina, and then moving business into South Carolina as well. The PTL Club was coming up. So from Mush to Kush, and then the Hindu Mountains were coming up, which is Afghanistan, Tajikistan, and Pakistan border. So from Mush to Kush, and seed to weed were also coming up, because Kush is a type of weed as well. From mushroom to train to canoe, happy place of the top dog's reign, can perceive the grandchild, the grandfather, Women, water, today, hello, the small island, to hear and listen, to be able to manifest and do things clearly, to see and perceive, have sight, vision, gaze, and again, be able to see emotional attachments, as well as something and anything in a little, and the 9, which is the one and the all, not only. Or watching around the world in 80 days, perhaps by TV, train, canoe, ripples, and fairies and their tails, to the King of Pentacles, the successful man. So at 10:54, the underlying energy was the 47, the sky bridge, and possibilities for union, with the 7 of cups of synchronicities in heaven in your eyes, and the 4 to 7 of the heart to the crown chakra, and the 23 of the King of Wands with fortune's wheel, with luck and right timing, the 39 of the Knight of Cups in a metox, repairing their body, mind, and spirit, after the wall, and the 4 of the Emperor caterpillar, the cat at the urgent pillar, or cat's ER pillar, and the eyes or discs of the spine's twist and compassion. And so as release. So the so as muscle also was coming up again. From the pillar to the shaman and taking a bath, 4 to 7 of heart to crown, and then crumbling down to come to 8 and awake. So 8's the high heart. The Emperor to the chariot, to the King of Wands and Knight of Cups, and the 62 of the will-o'-the-wisp, the treasures hidden in the shadows of imprisonment and anxiety, and the release of it, to the 3 of the abundant benefactors of grace and generosity, perhaps cleaning up to see the Empress. So I broke down the Emperor and the Empress because what do they actually mean? Is that the ultimate status of a human? Or is that the controller? Or likely both, right? It depends on your perspective. So the way they translate, literally, because EMP means employee. And error is error, but also other definitions. But an Empress has press and rest. And this is the way they played out. The Emperor is I am, to advocate, rant, tirade, plead a case, or hesitate and get someone else, younger, a student, an uncle or son, a relative perhaps, to dwell in the rant for them. The employee's error, wandering about in multiple eras, making mistakes. So that's the Emperor. The Empress is the female employee. I am press, media, force, able to lift heavy weight, perhaps with a single bound. The Empress is the E of one equal and congruent to, impress the Emperor or fix male employees' errors. The rest is to stand out, but without an altar, unhappy without you. And also coming up as Empress, the female employee with natural energy, with natural energy of resilience. The female employee with natural energy and resilience, with motivation and responsibility, without wasting anything. Which, right, is every man's dream, is to have someone doing all his work for him like that and clean up his mess. So at 11:24 is Justice of Alignment and the Queen of Wands, Omega, the illumination. The 13 of the Dream Thief, the refusal of the call. Of death, end, dark night, and transition of the 1-to-1 Two of Cups, the 42 of the Netcaster, whose preparations have now come to fruition. With the 15 of the Dust Devil, moving out of stagnation, and notice the reference to the horse again, with the stag, the horse's nation, and the stallion as the stallion. The death and the devil in partnership is an unnatural change or transformation, bumping into the flying monkeys on the way to Oz or to oxygen, foretelling a deep sleep in the fields, to only awake, refreshed, and ready to take on the world. So they actually did them a favor at 11:27 of Justice Alignment and the Ace of Wands. So the 29 of being present in the moment is next at 11:29, or the mother's or empress's death, and a partner's addiction or codependent relations, as the stage is set after a death ending dark night or transition to cause a rant or ruckus, stirring up the dust to motivate or create something out of nothing due to boredom. Or a bore, and then CERN came up, a bore that's dumb, or a waste of time and energy, again, which women wouldn't do. It's so funny how this comes up. And then the card at the end here was the 52 of the Queen of Swords, straddling worlds, wandering between realms, or cushy mountains, on the fence, roaming in the valley of the shadow of death, perhaps Death Valley, the Mojave Desert, from Munchkins to Monkeys to Man of La Manchese, after Man of La Mancha, Stained, at 11:39 of Justice and Alignment, the 39 of Knight of Cups, perhaps the Empress, Mother, or Grand, or benefactors of her, partner with the Queen of Swords to stir it up or detox after an ending, or Taurus and Scorpio and Capricorn partner up, or a treasure hunt with a crystal ball, a net or grid, and spinning around 3 times before off to the races with the Queen of Swords, Master of Ceremony, or tribal dance to bless the occasion like christening a ship before a maiden cruise. And there's a reference to Tom Cruise again there. I don't know why. I don't know if he's in the news recently. And maiden cruise is also coming up as May Den Cruise. At 11:43 is Justice of Coming Together, the underlying energy of the 17 of the star, the Queen of Cups nesting the dream, after death of a lover or relationship and an investigation, so someone might have had something investigated, perhaps an examination or cold case opened or exposed, or the ending of a relationship or illusion of one. With Aquarius, Leo, and Capricorn here, after Pisces, abundance, and the King of Pentacles, who's also well off, right? He's very successful. Hanging with group of birds or wise flock, reaping rewards, and pairing off to nest the dream. After a death, ending or transformation, the lovers examine, test, or are tested on the details, her harvest, learning to receive love, and get past disappointment, making things bigger than they actually are, with magnetism and the looking glass, or exposing causes and public judgment in the wake-up call or an alert to what is toxic, as the Power Lady 29 presents with the truth, looking out for the false person, or 2 who are ready to tango, or travel to a formal event, or masquerade, or perhaps to a funeral. And a death at a funeral keeps coming up as well. I don't know if somebody's watching that. So 1915, 1944, and 2020 all came up, and they were all significant events. I don't know what came up in 15, but 44 was the war, and 2020 was COVID. So there's this pattern there that was coming up, and it may trigger something in you that you need to know. But then April 4th, 20th, and 29th are also coming up, as well as August 10th. And 8-10 is also Kai, the 18, after 2 on the 9th, and my 8-10 is coming up. My parents' anniversary was 8-9. And a gift for or of false person and conductor, or man with top hat planning your destination. And remember, the man with the yellow hat was coming up as wearing a black hat now, which is the guy, the one who takes care of Curious George, which came up in my cloud pics yesterday. So check out my Instagram if you want to. There's a lot of other cool pictures that came up yesterday too. So again, the gift for or of a false person and conductor, or man with top hat planning your destination. And remember, the last read, Curious George Goes to Washington came up. And again, there's a train energy here, or baker declaration or dedication. So I looked up Baker to see what was in the news, and Baker Bots recruits Norton Rose Fulbright in London came up, or long time Norton Rose Fulbright in London, which came up from Reuters. And then Will Jerome Baker and David Long, so Long came up twice. David Long Jr., they get the job done for Miami Dolphins as the inside linebackers, and that was MSN. And why Baker Mayfield can fit in every locker room, and that was CBSSports.com. And of course, the gingerbread running away as fast as they can was coming up with the baker too. And then catch me if you can. So 1212 is 2 hanging men. As we all know, in the crucifixion, Mary Magdalene was right there with him. The 1 of the 23 and the 18, the first cards out, the King of Wands and the Moon. And again, that Kai, sorry, I can't say Kai. The King of Wands and the Moon, or that source of life. The 7 of Wands, of standing up for oneself, with the Page of Cups and the 10 of Cups here. Right? So the innocent one, the sweetheart, whether it's a small child who's always loving, or the pet, or your inner child, and the 10 of Cups, the ultimate emotional fulfillment of the family. After high vibe journey, the King of Wands stands up to pets, kids, or cancer pup who wants the 10 of Cups family to take them for a walk, or at least lead the way. Or bored kids get rammy with idle hands, and rammy, we're in Aries right now. And all that jazz keeps coming up. When the cat's away, the mouse will play, and or Libra fires Cancer, or can no longer be there to tell them every step to take. Moonchild is left to perhaps to babysit or do things on their own, or home alone with mice and critters and messes to clean up. With 16 and 33 and sudden 6 of Cups, or innocent children who love each other and perhaps concern about them, or man worrying if he did the right thing and leaving the young ones on their own, not wanting to martyr himself any longer. At 12:18, the hanging man again in the Moon. And that can reference Mary Magdalene as well. With fire, Cancer, and Scorpio and Leo, and the 8 of Dr. Jekyll, but it's Jackal here, Dr. Jekyll and Hyde, or the dance of sovereignty and dependence, and the 27 of the Ace of Wands and the 7 of Swords, of risk and dictating a letter or perhaps a risky document, breaking the seal or sealed information or confidentiality breach, and risky business. And there's Tom Cruise again. Doctor and patient. There could be adoption files here, as well as crime files and death records, with 1 card at the end of the 28, the twin flames or choice of path, and the lady in waiting or expecting a death notification or notice, or autopsy, forensics, or test results. Perhaps they had to leave a pet or kids at home to investigate or travel or go to a notary or estate planning, power of attorney, and such, or what if clause or prenup. He could be concerned how she will react to a prenup. And he, right, vice versa. At 12:28 is the hanging man and the twin flames and that choice of path. The 53 of the Knight of Swords and the family tree split in half in a locked stalemate or codependencies, and the key to the freedom is the root, and they meaning to travel to get to the bottom of it. The 41 of the Ace of Cups in the Holy Grail, as above so below, of the pink weeping willow, whose branches and flowers will always eventually find their way back to the root, the legacy of who they are, the love for oneself, the 42 of 1-to-1 to go with the flow, that the salt river will eventually meet up with the fresh to mesh. After the 16 of the Holy Grail and the Ace of Cups, gold, after the 47 of the heart to the crown and 47 today of Good Friday, of blessings and thanks of Good Friday and sudden lighting up to infinitum of the Ancient One, from the womb's cap to the heart's cup, the womb's cap to the heart's cup, like the Holy Grail, or man's cap or head in the womb, lights up the solar plexus of quantum confidence. And confidant also is coming up. The sudden cup of Joe as the 35 wounded warrior Kundalini takes off, sparking how to put the pieces of Humpty and the family back together, with the Knight of Swords messenger of truth, an offer of new love, and the 2 of Cups partnership or sudden love of the wounded warrior and the Knight of Swords, 4 to 7 heart to crown, or the crucifixion, which breaks down to as the crew sees to fix the connection of the lamb, duh, or father leap, to the crown, whether birthing or waking with compassionate reflection and whispering bench going with the flow. At 1240, the Hanging Man and the Page of Cups are innocent one, the sweetheart. The 40 then again as the first card of the evolution and birthing of that sweetheart. The Page of Cups and the King of Wands, or the rams and the lions, inner children. The moon child or innocent pup, the Page of Cups and the 10 of Cups, 50, of signs and synchronicities from birds and spirit with love. At 1244, shut the door with the Hanging Man and Hercules, her harvest. The Hanging Man learns to receive love with her harvest, seeing the error of his ways as the emperor. The 3344 of my business comes up, but that's also the death of the martyr to lead the masses into their own DNA awakening, as Cryon always says, from 33 to 44%, with a letter of intent. As the two high priestess or divine feminine reviews and reflects in the purple full moon, the pink full moon, that's very golden and bright, with one card at the end, the 36 of the 369, the inner child to hear and know me, with the weight of the world, and the atlas map of intent. At 1254, what they meant, the Hanging Man and the Page of Swords, that's that Mercury, Virgo, Gemini energy, hanging out, being wise, and the underlying energy of the 42. Let love be your beacon, and the 34 of the energetic exchange in the pink moon, with vulnerability, blushing, and drifting on a wing in a prayer. The 25 of the Knight of Wands and the blue baby to keep your dreams alive, blowing you a kiss. The 35 wounded warrior in a culmination of their vision, with the 22 Fool's Leap with an open heart. To the 28 of the twin flame and the bountiful harvest, preparing the fields, preparing for 5D, or the 50 of the 10 of Cups ultimate family and potential gateway of the 5D family tree. The 12 of the Hanging Man and wise expansion as the man reaches out, little girl riding buck in a hand fasting of mountains as families hang out in a double rainbow and balloon ship exchange with little fairy girl creating ripples amongst the ancient ones. With Aries leap to twin flame 5D and the path of the 10 of Cups, perhaps Pisces and Cancer or family trip or merging in a bold move at 104, the Magician and the Emperor. The first card next is the 23, 15, and 18 of the King of Wands, Shadow, and the Moon, or Aries Libra axis again, the King of Wands and 2023, that you are worthy of your vision. So hug a tree and catch your breath, or visit home to expand and express new possibilities, to bloom again. From fall to spring, or Capricorn to Cancer, January to July, the square of Aries and Libra to allow the subconscious to rise. Your little girl to come out, and again the psoas muscle coming out. You might want to look up a psoas trauma release and do that. It's really cool. You'll shake a lot, and it's releasing from the brainstem all the trauma that's been stored in your psoas. The first card at the end is the 30 of adventure, in the union of the mountains, the moss, seaweed, and algae, and Enki's sun, the one with the conch shell. The call to bridge over troubled waters of Spain and Africa here, perhaps mermaid assigned to this post at the full moon, home on the range, as the Queen of Swords, Lady Liberty, is waiting for the bridges to form at Atlas Mountains, which is then Hercules Mountain in Spain, and then her harvest there with Hercules, with the inner child to show the way. The magical adventure to self-discovery, seeing yourself in both sides, and the Rock of Gibraltar, which then comes up as Jibril with a J, is the doublet of Gabriel. So the Rock of Gabriel's altar, the throne of Gabriel, and her harvest, and his map of intent, to join with Lady Liberty. And again, remember, England is the United States' family. We stem from England. Of course, many other countries, but that was the initiation of the country. With his map of intent to join Lady Liberty and England or Britain or UK and the family and US. Again, so it's like the two halves of the family that split were England and America. And here is again bringing the two families back together again. The Moroccans and the Spaniards, and the Americans and Brits, in a reunion of Mark Andrew Spitz. He was born February 10th, 1950. And it was the 72 Games in Munich. So Germany coming up here too, where he had 7 gold medals, I think 9 golds altogether, with 35 world records. Unbeaten until 2008 with Michael Phelps and 8 golds. From California to Hawaii, back to California, Sacramento, and Santa Clara again. The longest, and that was all about Mark Spitz. And again, this energy of swimming from, Europe to America. The longest ocean swim was 155.34 miles. Pablo Fernandez from Spain in Miami, July 19th to 20th, 2021. So at 128 of the leap to the twins, the underlying energy of the King of Cups and Death, or Scorpio, 6 of Cups, soul tie, to the Queen of Cups, Capricorn, or Dark Knight's temptation. Or the King of Cups and Queen of Cups wave to the Queen of Pentacles with a message, and the Page of Swords, or up to bat, with the 9 of Wands wounded warrior, defensive or guarding their fence. Or Magician or Gemini, defensive or on guard, challenging them to a duel and partnering with the world, the Divine Feminine or Pisces lover, or Pisces and Gemini or twin, or with great affection, one with great affection, for the 9 of Pentacles sovereign or single white female who can't sleep receives loving message from the King of Wands, or a visit from the King of Wands with the Page of Cups and Page of Pentacles, or King of Wands invite to the Queen of Swords to be free from the Knight of Swords, or an invite to joust, as her sword delights and inspires him to spar and offer a choice. Or the Knight of Swords twin flame is happy to have the Hermit shed light on them as the Queen of Wands travels to or with the King of Pentacles or takes their show on the road. At 138, the masculine again, or the Magician, and the leap to the Queen of Cups, as the first card here is the Knight of Wands who rushes back to the King of Pentacles, as the Page of Wands and the Knight of Pentacles move forward in a 3-2-1 jump to Justice of the High Priestess or Higher Self, Divine Feminine, offering love, or Libra and Pisces or Virgo offering love or a loving gesture or some kindness to the Empress and the Emperor with the King of Swords between them, or at mediation, perhaps sister present for support. Perhaps the King of Wands' kids are the Knight of Wands and the Page of Wands. Perhaps one is with the King of Pentacles and the other was the Knight of Pentacles. Perhaps going to court, to review, to a keynote speaker, or to a show or showtime at the Met perhaps. And then showtime. This finished right at 1:44. So that was perfect, perhaps. And remember 144 time, 1:44 is 11:44, which is alignment with Hercules, or a double leap, a double lambda leap of both the masculine and the feminine. So now we go back to the read on the table, and then we'll be all set. Yeah, and this one's not too long. Okay. So here's the read on the table, the 3-deck read for the twin flames. I'm having trouble focusing here. That's funny because I was looking at eye stuff today. So the eyes are a focus here too. And again, the belly, as we talked about earlier. All right, so this one was done on the 5th. This was 303 to 304. I cut the deck. And I finished clarifying at 330, which is the Empress, and the Home, or the Union. And number 8 came up right there. I don't know why I wrote that. Why did I write that? Oh, I see. It's actually not the number 8. It's a colon. But that's coming up for whatever reason. Number 8 is significant. The major arcana that came up for this read were the Indigo, which is the Magician, Abundance, which is the Empress, and before the read, the Higher Self, which is the High Priestess, and after the read, Solar Deity, which is the Sun. There were 4 cups, 1 sword, 2 wands, and 2 pentacles, 4122, which is the Ace of Cups or Holy Grail, and the 22 of the Fool with an open heart, taking a leap of faith. And we had the Knight of Cups and King of Wands as the main characters in the read. The Knight of Pentacles was prior to the read, and then after the read, the Nine of Pentacles Sovereign and the Queen of Cups came up. And they could be sisters as well, or mother and child even. And they could just be friends as well, but that was coming up. The numbers, we had double 2s, 4s, 7s, 8s, and 10s. 22 is the Fool. 44 is the Hercules energy of the 4 of Cups. Grounding, integrating, and mastering how to receive love as well. The 77 of the Sovereign, the 88 of the Twins, dancing side by side, and 1010 of that high vibration to keep it high and be reminded to keep coming back to yourself. The code line here is all about completion, and the number 5 coming from 4 and 1. Again, the land but leap, and then leaping again. The 5 is freedom, change, and expansion, and the Hierophant. And the code line here, message about completion and the number 5, right? Because with completion, there's change and expansion. I have, let's see here. To see an ad, perhaps you're looking at an ad, or I was looking at an ad. I don't like to look at ads, but something in my eyes came up, so I was listening to a little bit of it. And then that can be, maybe you're pursuing some advertising for your own business as well. And again, AD can always come up as after death as well. But here is getting the ad, to see the ad, and the Knight being key, and the AB and AD were both coming up. So AD and then AB. To see the ad, the Knight being key, after birth or son of poetry, to compete or imagine, the 4 of Cups of disappointment or boredom, of grounding, integrating, and mastering how to receive love. That's what boredom is for. To ground and integrate the energies you've expanded into. And the Ace of Pentacles here, grounding, integrating, mastering, or to complete a payoff here. If after death, adept in beginning stages, the ability of father to take an exam or to compete or source, or imagine being bored enough to make an offer to complete and start over. If a dad tested after birth, or water to consider source, blood, grounding, integrating, and mastering how to receive love and an offer of a new life. So this could be literally having afterbirth tested for whatever reason. Maybe somebody's water broke or it was infected, and there could be some kind of testing being done there between water and blood. Someone's trying to figure out the source. But also, after birth could be after rebirth, and perhaps a dad being tested on what he's learned. Sit is also coming up as in talking to your dog or whatever. Sit. And the Knight, or the one who's able to hand over or hinder the father or son to think and or say just because you're bored, or paying someone to help get it done to be complete already. So we start here with the Knight of Cups reversed. And again, this is this pile over here with the mini cards on top. So the card on top there is the Knight of Cups reversed. Beneath that is the 8 of Swords, 2 of Swords, 7 of Wands, upright. Then the Knight of Pentacles reversed and the higher self on top below the Knight of Cups reversed. So trapped or imprisoned, perhaps anxious and keeping to themselves, taking the high ground with the Knight of Pentacles reversed, who may be stubborn or resistant or unable to function. Perhaps they're a block to the higher self, the Knight of Cups reversed, or the High Priestess is between the Knight of Pentacles and Knight of Cups, both reversed, hiding in the woods or comfortably numb on the jetties, perhaps rising with flame in hand above the drama or the crowd at 4:30 of the Emperor and the home. So the 4 and the 30 can also be the lambda leap to union, the hermit losing their mind or over-isolating, no longer reflecting or coming out, perhaps with issues at work and family, or unable to keep up with the bigger competition or bigger company. Or the 3 of Pentacles and the 10 of Pentacles are both reversed here, coming together while hiding and avoiding crowds or the group, or not wanting to be seen while people are coming at them, or has a hard time speaking in front of groups. As the Knight of Pentacles and Knight of Cups, both reversed, may not be talking to each other, or in disconnect or at a distance, and yet ascending or making a bold move to commit, or do taxes, or take on the institute, religion, the governing bodies, society, or the all-boys club. Or Taurus, receiving big love from the full moon, Cancer, or dog that's howling. Perhaps they're longing for them to clean up their act and come out. Or 2 knights not getting along, must drive or travel together to a commitment. Or Cancer and Taurus with an offer of love at the full moon, perhaps a secret admirer. The worst now over, perhaps even bliss, as an announcement comes in, or a call or wake-up call to the Queen of Pentacles upright, to stand up to the 5 of Wands crowd or group, or the sleeping waking up to dance, spar, play, or listen to the Queen of Pentacles. Or those unseen are ready to catch the Queen of Pentacles and fight for them. Or a blissful Gabriel message comes through as the Queen of Pentacles to the masses, or perhaps a song, whistling a happy tune, or 2 knights waking to fight for the Queen of Pentacles, the golden gate holder here. As Pisces, Cancer, Taurus, and Aquarius upright with Virgo reversed here, and the 27 of the spiritual partnership, the 33 of the community or the communication, the Christ communication, where the spiritual partnership with the Christ or unity consciousness, or channeling directly by them. At 4:59, the minute before 5, as the recent past is the King of Wands, who may be jealous or rejected or heartbroken without their twin flame, or the wounded warrior who surrenders their wounds to lift up the world, as the man of passion, and man of La Mancha is coming up again, and Mancha means stain, with dreams to fulfill here, or working hard towards a dream girl, sovereign, catch, or their own independence, as the sovereign and the empress reversed had a falling out in the past, or difficult kids between them, or perhaps a difficult childhood, or the King of Wands is working hard to make independent child a star, or help them with their dreams after a negative past with mother or grandmother, or exposed by kids standing up for themselves. Or the King of Wands, Atlas, is leaving the wounded warrior behind, leaving the quote-unquote star and their children to deal with a difficult mother and fend for themselves. At 5:07, which is the Hierophant and the Chariot, the foundation here is the 2 of Wands reversed, perhaps with their hands tied and feeling rejected, or with the Page of Cups reversed, wanting for attention, or with a whiny reputation, sneaky, or doing things under the radar, or with a bad reputation, perhaps at work or with issues. And the King of Pentacles, sorry, my mic had fallen off. I didn't realize that. I'm sorry if the sound is weird. Or the King of Wands working hard to make an independent child a star, or help them with their dreams after a negative past with mother or grand, exposed by the kids standing up for themselves. Or the King of Wands, Atlas, leaving the wounded warrior behind, leaving the star and their children to deal with the difficult mother and fend for themselves. The foundation here is the 2 of Wands reversed, with their hands tied and rejected, or with the Page of Cups reversed, wanting for attention, or with a whiny reputation, sneaky or doing things under the radar, or a bad reputation at work or with issues. With the King of Pentacles, after inner war or virus, and Dr. PTSD, or PTSD after the past 2 or 3 years, and how it affected your work or your anxiety, or feeling vulnerable, or being paid under the table by the King of Pentacles without recourse. The central energy here is the Three of Swords, of lightning and storm, of heartbreak and separation, and the Knight of Wands stressed out, rushing back, or doing call, or trying to get them to pay attention, after a sudden event or drama of synchronicities or too many choices, or the magpie who lives for sparkle and can't resist taking things, or heaven in their eyes, and we're blinded by the light. At 5:18, the Hierophant and the Moon, with the Hanging Man, JC, at Easter time, challenged by the Four of Cups reversed and Mary Magdalene, no longer an island to themselves and starting over, if, and only if, they can make it back to shore, to survive and rise above the rough seas. So here comes Mark Spitz with the Olympic swimmer. The storm and the heartbreak of the patient angel getting over their sadness, loss, and regret, with the Knight of Swords reversed and their lashings, 39 in all, and moving on up to the 5D realms. And now crowning is the Ten of Cups reversed, with no option but to split up the Ten of Cups reversed family or end an emotional cycle that's so overdue. After that emotional or energetic exchange and the arrows of love with lots of back and forth and still no options, but the King of Cups or unconditional love, with the Ten of Cups reversed, unable to implement a plan with the King of Cups, who seeks to be free from the downturn, the slowdown, and no movement at all, slowing to a full halt, to force him inside to be quiet and in their knowing, or not working and keeping to themselves. At 5:24, the Hierophant and the Queen of Wands. And soon coming up is the Indigo reversed without a proposal, the High Priestess and Dark Knight after the world turned upside down, by X or without affection, or Divine Feminine or Pisces reversed, getting over the Knight of Swords reversed or Gemini reversed, nipping at their heels or lashing out. Perhaps Gemini or X's proposal was turned down, and the High Priestess and Dark Knight are needing to come full circle and be done, but frustrated without tools or with a manipulator and no growth, with the Queen of Cups in need of peace with the Queen of Swords. And Pisces and Gemini are both reversed here. Also, Pisces is upright with Scorpio upright. Perhaps Scorpio is a better fit for them or match, or High Priestess to end Dark Knight's abuse of the Queen of Cups. As twin flames see themselves as the Empress reversed or in lack, or Dark Mother in their energy of rejection, jealousy, moodiness, inability to implement a plan, or just feeling in lack, after stable home and being moderate, or clinging to home or union, Divine Masculine, feeling insecure or manipulative or without tools, or never before rejected by the Ten of Pentacles reversed family, business, or community or legacy, and the Seven of Pentacles reversed, or the Empress reversed who was scanned by their own family, or a schmoozer getting family to dote on them, down from the Ten of Pentacles to the Seven of Pentacles, and then spending on the Four of Wands home, investing in the truth, or looking to dethrone, or after looking everywhere, the Divine Feminine found their crown, or victorious over the Divine Masculine withholding and wanting to stay small. After the home with the Four of Pentacles, or the Divine Masculine in the Batcave, with insecure, jealous, or manipulative one, or self, with the Ten of Pentacles reversed, family, business, or community, or legacy, perhaps dysfunction or loss there, pouring time, money, and effort into them, down to the Seven of Pentacles reversed, and now wanting the Divine Feminine to chip in too, or make a plan to tell the whole truth along with or about the Divine Masculine in the Batcave and hiding out, with the Empress reversed, or after a mother's passing, that could be as well. Around the twins, or how they're seen, is the Seven of Pentacles reversed, the Divine Feminine in the E-Tower coming out, with the King of Swords upright, not talking, while trying to figure out his crystals on his magic carpet in front of the E-Tower. Or the inequity between the King of Swords and the Page of Swords, or having to live check to check. As the geese, like a group of geese were coming out here too. And that took me back to like 2015 or 16, I think, when I was at Bernathen Cathedral, and the geese were all over the lawn. It was beautiful. I was guided to go there for 12 days in a row. And the last day, there was a wedding. It was really cool. All right, so keeping their head down, working like an assembly line, getting their ducks in a row to be present, or for gifts only to end up with nothing. So again, the frustration of them. At 554, the Hierophant and the Page of Swords, and the King of Swords, who may be silent until he can build his worth, from the Six of Pentacles reversed, or the inequity, to the Eight of Pentacles, or, a working business again, or investing 6 to create 8, or making a gift that's out of this world. With Taurus reversed, Gemini or Virgo reversed here, perhaps the King of Swords is upright, but his inner child is the Page of Swords reversed and is off balance, and he's working on it, always present to coming back to the balance. The block here is the Eight of Cups, of walking away from manipulators after the Queen of Swords is teaching or learning to be strong in detox, or in need of peace with Leo upright and Capricorn reversed, or child or pet and walking away from addictions. With the Page of Pentacles reversed and Capricorn reversed, perhaps in need of help from the King of Wands Leo, perhaps to clear blocks that children are to be seen and not heard, as the King of Swords is not talking and the Queen of Swords is being strong, or with mother who babies them, or is unable to manifest or learn without the King of Wands, or so they say, so they don't have to do it, and the crowd to tell them what to do, as the King of Wands could be with a spoiled child and needy or bossy mother, and or mother and child at odds with each other and don't like each other, or Pisces and Divine Feminine upright with the King of Wands with Indigo or Gemini leaving, after the High Priestess and Dark Knight or Pisces and Scorpio seek to inspire the Queen of Cups to find peace or travel at 6:15. Which is in Gemini. That's June 15. 6 is the Lovers and 15 is the Devil, which is basically the same card of light and dark. Where there's a completion of a family cycle and a relationship change, perhaps keeping to themselves. With the Ace of Pentacles and ground-breaking new start, after stressed with sleep and lovers out in the cold, with exile, illness, or injury, and getting their wish with the Emperor dropping the ball with the Ten of Cups reverse family, or breaking patterns with them. As the Queen of Wands is upright, offering a new start or time, money, and energy to get them to stay or to get them to go and start over. As the Page of Wands is upright to inspire or is excited, I was getting exalted, about a break, a rest, or 5D connection, or retreat and coming together with friends or bliss in the home stretch, or done stretching and juggling and saving for later. Now in the Sun, needing peace, the Divine Masculine's heart in the Batcave with the Nine of Pentacles Sovereign and the Queen of Cups, or single with the Queen of Cups and Justice for All at 6:24, the Lovers and the crowning moment. As the Knight of Cups reversed without a choice and the Empress reversed, investing in the King of Wands in desert storm, or perhaps just a storm, challenged by getting to shore, in need of a proposal or diamond so that they can walk away from the Ten of Cups reversed family, business, or community. And again, this could be a very unhappy family or emotional dysfunction there. And a diamond in the rough here, a stone-breaking plant where the worst is now over of war and exposing all on vacation or in need of peace, with the Divine Masculine's heart in the Batcave and the Nine of Pentacles Sovereign with the Queen of Cups. The prisoner of silence and rising above to tango with flame. The Knight of Pentacles reversed needing to take action or propose to his higher self. The Knight of Cups reversed can reflect the King of Wands upright without a choice but to separate from the Ten of Cups reversed family or an ending, emotional cycle ending, and challenged by starting over without or over the rough seas, as the Empress reversed and Indigo Magician reversed, is investing in coming out of the E-Tower to Plymouth Rock, in the bliss of a whole new world in the Sun, in need of peace with the Divine Masculine's heart in the Batcave or Crystal Cave with the Nine of Pentacles Sovereign and the Queen of Cups at 10:03, the Wheel of Fortune and the Empress or Great Abundance. All right, so I'm going to pull you a Journey of Love card. I haven't done that in a while, so I'll read that to you. So what is our takeaway from all this? That's 6:03 on my clock. and 1:59, 14 to 15 here. And we started out with the angel and the devil. And this is the 11th hour at 59, and the one of the leap, the magician. The leap to magician embodiment. And for the twin flames, what is the takeaway for all these reads today? What is the main energy? What do we need to know? All right. Devotion to the small, the 32 of the journey, and across the waters. There's the King of Wands, and you notice they're reflecting 32 and 23. Okay, so 32 is the journey to open one's heart and take a leap of faith in being devoted to the small, and the King of Wands across the waters, which is, again, dealing with their emotions and taking that journey there together. You notice there's masculine energy down here in the numbers, but these are both feminine energies, right? Tending to the small, to the flowers and the children, to the pets, the vulnerable, while also the bride waiting in the wall of the cyclone and the vortex at the same time. And getting their beauty rest, of course. The bottom of the deck here, and the heart on fire. There's that Christ fire coming through that rose heart. That one of the leap, the masculine, right? That Christ light bubbling through, that channels through. And the bottom of the deck here is the guardian of the soul family, which is that third energy of the child, the 26th, which is the Page of Wands, and 2026 again coming up. The guardian of the soul family, and painting that pretty picture of being that happy family in the vortex, inspired with the sweet soul rising, which this can represent the Page of Cups as well in the wake-up call here. This to the sweetheart and the lion's heart of the Page of Wands. So I'm going to read to you the 32 of Devotion to the Small to see what your message is. 32. This one says, she bows, she honors growth. She sees that within the smallest flower, there is teaching of the earth, the gospel of Gaia, the mystery of life demonstrated. She recognizes that she too is of nature, subject to the mysteries and growth and life, that in honoring nature and taking pleasure in life, she opens her heart to allow great creation to happen through her. This is the feminine wisdom alive in men and women with open hearts. There is an innate wisdom within you that understands this devotion to the Earth Mother as an important step in fulfilling your spiritual destiny on this planet. She's speaking to you now, letting you know that there is a small change happening, something that's growing within you that you may recognize but not think is so important, and yet she tells you now that it's very significant. Soon you'll see that what you thought was a seed to yield a single flower is actually blossoming into a lush garden of manifestation. Gratitude and love for the small changes happening are leading you into fullness that you can only dream of, so enjoy. The message of this oracle for you is that your blossoming is occurring now, and the Earth Mother has gratitude for your presence within her being, for the work you are doing to help other human beings. She asks for you to surrender any concern you have to her, to let her creative power continue to gently guide you into your rightful place in this world, that you may shine as you were born to do, in service to the evolution of this planet. She is helping you now, so trust her. A flower is a poem that tells you the truth of a thought, in the fragrance of a dream, as fleeting as a heartbeat, as lasting as a memory. And the next page is God Speaks. So there you go. Okay, remember your water, your rest, your joy, your nature, to follow your knowing, and rise and be love. Love and rise, you guys. I'll see you soon. Have an amazing day. It's in their eyes.